Today on Crossroads Studios, we look at How Bad Is It? Featuring the Digitech Crossroads Eric Clapton Signature Series pedal. So, just a quick disclaimer, this whole series that I've done with the How Bad Is It isn't a way to make fun of the pedal or destroy the reputation of a pedal brand. What I'm doing is taking this pedal, which is the pedal we're using today, and I'm going to give it the absolute most unbiased, fairest review I can possibly do on this pedal to show you guys if it is a horrible pedal and it's unusable, or if you can actually get some decent sounds out of this. So we will not be playing any Eric Clapton songs, as I am not going to get demonetized for playing something. If you want to hear other people play through this pedal and the different songs that are associated with it, you can find it on other videos online. So without further ado, let's get into the knobs of this pedal. So first we have level, control 1, control 2, and model. The only two knobs here that are consistent throughout the whole pedal is this level knob and model knob. The model is going to allow you to change between 7 different sounds that Eric Clapton has created throughout the years that Digitech has recreated into this pedal format. Level obviously is going to bring up the volume of the affected sound. So moving on now to model number 1. This is the Sunshine of Your Love tone. The control 1 is going to adjust the overall distortion gain, and control 2 is going to adjust the tone. So for this sound sample, I'm going to be using a Paul Reed Smith single cut 22, and I'm going to be plugging into this and then straight into the Fender Super Reverb. So with staying on Model 1, we're now going to use this as a boost using a 7-string EC257 from LTD into this pedal, into a Mesa Boogie Stiletto Deuce, and we're going to get some chainsaw-like tones with this pedal. Notice how the knobs are really far down. This thing can get really sick and really crazy. Here we go. So now looking at model number 2, we have the Crossroads setting. So control 1, that's going to change the distortion gain, and tone's going to adjust the overall tone. What we're going to do is we're going to plug in a Fender Strat into this pedal into the effects return of a PB3120. So moving on now, we have Model 3. Model 3 is called Badge. This is a Leslie rotating speaker simulator. Control 1 adjusts the overdrive gain, and Control 2 will adjust the speed of the modulated effect. It is very important, in order to get the full rotating speaker effect, you have to put in both of the outputs and pan hard left and hard right, like you will hear here. I'm plugging straight into this pedal using a Paul Reed Smith single cut 22 into both of my high Z outputs, into my Apollo, panning hard left, panning hard right. Here we go. So moving on now to model number 4, which is called Layla. Control number 1 adjusts the distortion gain, and Control 2 adjusts the overall tone. I'm going to be using a Fender Strat again for this sound sample, plugging into this pedal and then using the mixer output to go into my Apollo interface to the high Z. So here we go. So once again, we're going to use this pedal as a boost on setting number 4, which was the Layla setting. We're going to use the Fender Strat again into this pedal, plugging straight into the front of a Paul Reed Smith Sincera 50 watt head. looking at model number 5, this model is called Lay Down Sally. Your distortion gain is control 1 and control 2 is your overall tone. What we're going to use for this sound sample is we're going to use my Ernie Ball Monarchy Majesty into this pedal straight into the front of the PD JSX. And keeping with setting number 5, we're going to use this as a boost again. We're going to use a RRR Elk Skull Explorer into this pedal into a Blackstar HT Studio 20. So moving on now, let's look at model number 6. Now model number 6 is the Layla Unplugged sound. So control 1 is going to allow you to adjust the body amount, and control 2 will allow you to adjust how much reverb you want in the sound. With this sound sample, I highly suggest using both outputs, again like we did with the rotary speaker, and pan hard left and hard right. This is going to give you the best and fullest sound from this pedal. We're going to be using an Ernie Ball Monarchy Majesty plugged into this pedal, and then panned hard left and hard right using my Apollo High Z inputs. So last but not least, we're going to look at the 7th model, which is Reptile. Now, Control 1 changes the overdrive gain. Control 2 adjusts how much reverb you want in the sound. With this sound sample, we're going to be using Ibanez RG EX FM1 into the pedal and straight into the high Z input. Here we go. So this concludes my review of the Digitech Eric Clapton Crossroads Signature Series pedal. Now, if you want any of the Digitech simulated tones for each of the models, keep everything at the 12 o'clock position and then select the model which you desire. With that being said, I think that's the exact reason why people are having so much trouble with this pedal. So from setting to setting, say setting 1 and then setting 2, if his tone is in the higher regions in one and then in the low regions in another, when you go to select the next model, your halfway point is a completely different position. So having everything at the 12 o'clock position to actually get his tone is a really cool way of doing this pedal. It's a really easy way for people to dial in his tone the way that they prepared it. But that's going to confuse anybody going from model to model to model when you go from a bassy low end to an unbelievably high, crazy high end that's too extreme. So be careful going back and forth between the models and really recognize which models are in the higher regions of the treble side of tone. Another thing that I really have to stress with this pedal is the 2 output jacks. When using setting number 3 and setting number 6, having the rotary speaker and the Layla acoustic unplugged, you have to use both of those outputs to really get the spinning speaker effect or the actual full body of the acoustic. I think both of those sound great, and I think I was able to get a really decent sound with this pedal, and I think those 2 settings alone actually make this pedal worth actually going out and buying if this is what you're looking for. Some of the other tones are to be desired for sure, but I think with each of the tones I was able to get a decent sound, and you really got to watch out with trying to use this as a boost because it can get pretty extreme. One cool thing though with the extremeness of this pedal using it as a boost is when I used the 7-string and I was able to get kind of those chainsaw HM2 style tones. You can really notice how far down the tone Control 1 and Control 2 were, so you can only imagine how much more extreme in the range you can get with this pedal. So is it the worst pedal in the world? I don't think so. I think you can find a use for it, and I think if there's even one setting on this that you can find a use for, then it's not the worst pedal in the world. It definitely doesn't stand up to some of the other pedals over time, like the Scott Ian pedal, the Dan Donegan. Those are great pedals, but this is a completely different animal, and I think it's still going to be of good use to anybody that really wants some of those effects or tones in this. It's not overly for me, but I can definitely use the rotary speaker and the acoustic simulator. I think the acoustic simulator actually sounds better than the AC2 from Boss. But that's my personal opinion. I'm a huge Boss fan. But tell me what you guys think of this pedal. Do you guys feel like there was certain settings that you guys could use, or do you find that it's an absolute mess of a pedal and you can't get anything from it? Throw it down in the comments. Let us know. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I hope to hear from you soon.